Hey everybody, this is my truck. It's a 2016 B model W900. It's a beautiful truck. I work for this company, Earl Paddock Transport, out of Stoney Creek, Ontario. And they let me haul some pretty cool toys around here. And we're in Stoney Creek, Ontario right now. Can anybody guess what that is? Okay, so we got the standard 3-axle tractor with a single axle Jeep. That's a pin-on for the back of the trailer for a load that I'm picking up after I deliver this monster. Can anybody guess what that is? If you said a trash compactor, you're right. That's what they use at the garbage dumps. They drive that up and down the top of the garbage, and it's super heavy, and it compacts the garbage on the landfill. And there's a blade on the front they use to push garbage around. Well, that's what that does. That looks brand new, doesn't it? But it's not. It's refurbished by Marcel Equipment in London, Ontario, and they do an amazing job refurbishing these things. They do a lot of them. I've been doing hauling their stuff for many years. And just check out the big monster tires on here. Well, they're not tires, they're steel wheels, right? They got the big spikes there for digging into the trash. And this is the trailer. It's a 3-axle trailer, and that on top there, that's called a stinger bar. When I get that trash compactor off, we attach that stinger bar to the back here, and we put that pin-on axle that we saw first up on front there. We take that off and we put that on the back of that stinger bar, and that extends the length of the trailer and lets me haul more weight for a great big Komatsu payloader I'm bringing back. And where is this going? This is going to Grand Forks, British Columbia. There's a landfill site there that needs it, and we're going to bring it there. And that's what we're doing on this trip. I'm going to document this trip for you. We get any requests from people. I want you to document a whole trip, so that's what we're doing. We got brand new flags on the corners there. We got a oversized load sign on the back. All this is required by law to haul these things. We got great big chains. Those are 3/8 chains. There's 3/8 chains on here. There's 1/2-inch chains on here. Let's see if I can find a 1/2 inch. There's a 1/2-inch chain right there with a 1/2-inch binder. Ratchet binders. They work really well. They secure a load. They do a good job. You got to have flags on the outer corners of your load. And when you show up at the scale, or the cops see you going down the road and everything looks nice and clean and flagged up and signed up, I got another oversized load sign on the front of my truck. And since we're going to British Columbia, we're required to carry tire chains with us. So those are the tire chains that are hanging on the rack back there. And that's it. There's my truck, beautiful truck. There's my load, beautiful load. Time to stop and get some fuel here. Hauling this much weight burns a lot of fuel, and once we leave the Sioux here, we're going to be into some pretty heavy up and down climbs and whatnot, so we're going to need a full tank of fuel to get us to Thunder Bay. So we'll swing around the back here, pull up to the fuel islands, and fill her up again. It costs a lot of money to truck down nowadays. Probably I'm just over a quarter tank. It's probably gonna cost me, I don't know, $600–700. And that's if it's empty, it costs over $1,000 depending on how much fuel you carry. And if you do a lot of good trucking, it can cost you that every day you're out here. Well, I work for a company that pays for the fuel, and I don't have to pay for that anymore. I used to have to buy my own fuel, but not anymore. Just enough room to get through here. Don't forget, our load's 12 feet wide. See it in the mirror there, sticking out. We should be able to squeeze through here, no problem. Ontario. Not much to do here in work, because when you're this big in Ontario, they don't let you run in the dark up here. We did almost 1,000 kilometers. We did about 600 miles today, which is not too bad. It's better than in the winter, because when the sun goes down 4:30, 5 o'clock, you don't get very many miles in. But 600 miles for a day at daylight hours only, that's not too bad. I'm in a good, there's lots of parking here at on this side road here. There's a big truck stop there to my left. Well, it's a small truck stop with a big parking lot. And the Family Kitchen restaurant, they're out of business. They're not open anymore. So Wawa's kind of hurting for in the prosperity department. But if you go up the road there a little further, turn right on the Wawa get off up there. There's a little village down in there called Wawa. There's a hotel, the Wawa Hotel, and it's a nice hotel. I highly recommend it. Sometimes you can drop a trailer here and bobtail over there for dinner and whatever. But I'm all set here in the truck. I got my own. Let me show you what I got going on here. I got my own coffee maker down there. And water and coffee underneath the sleeper there. I've got a no-stick frying pan there. I can cook up steak and eggs, or rice, or whatever I want. And I got a microwave below that. Let's go back here. There's my bed there. I'm gonna microwave beneath that. And I'm all set here. I got my laptop up on top right there. I got some canned food there. My laptop there. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere around here, but I do have every season of Gunsmoke, so that's what I'll be doing tonight. Anyway, this is day 1, all wrapped up. Day 2 tomorrow. We got 3 more days to get to where we're going. See you later. Well, it's day 2 here. It's rainy, cold, and miserable. It gets much colder. It's 3 degrees Celsius. If it gets much colder, it's going to turn to snow here. Well, we're about 3 hours to Thunder Bay, and so far so good. Well, I just went through Terrace Bay there, and boy, I really had to back out of her here because of the fog. It just kind of descended on us like a blanket here. So we really had to slow down. You can't get carried away in the fog, especially out here, because there's bears out here, there's moose and deer and wolves and all kinds of animals, and not to mention, you know, cars pulling out of their driveways and side roads, and every now and then you'll see people walking down the road. You know, you gotta take it easy through here. 12 feet wide, you know, you can't be messing around. Some people might be wondering, why is he driving in the fog and driving through city streets and everything, holding onto a video camera? Well, I've actually got a Cobra GoPro style camera that it came with a strap. You can strap it to your forehead, so it's kind of like a forehead cam, right? So basically you see everything I see. And so you see I got both hands here free. I don't need to hold on to anything there. So we're doing it safe here. We're doing it safe. We got a narrow bridge coming up here. I hope we can squeeze through there. Pretty wide. That looks like a skinny bridge. Just have to creep across there. They're supposed to keep the bridges at 12 foot 2 inches at least, because our annual permits cover that much width. We're 12 feet wide, so we could have only an inch on each side of here. Give her a shot here and see what happens. A big lineup of cars behind me because I've just been creeping up and down the hills in the fog, and the weight holds me back a lot here. So we'll see what happens with the bridge here. Take it easy here. Oh, bounce up and bounce off. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we got pretty good clearance on each side there. Yeah, there we go. Well, it's time to get fuel again here. We're going to pull into the Flying J truck stop here in Pass Lake, Ontario, and fill her back up here. That'll take us all the way past Winnipeg, or into Winnipeg at least. Or maybe we'll top it up in Winnipeg again. It depends on what our permit routing is for Manitoba. They're going to get me a Manitoba permit for the weight, and they're going to route me on the permit. So we have an annual permit for Ontario for this much weight, but Manitoba requires an extra permit for the amount of weight that we have. So we're going to fuel up here, so we got enough fuel to get to a truck stop in Manitoba regardless of how the routing is there. So this one here, it's usually more busy than this, so thankfully we got right into a fuel island here. Well, we got our fuel on here. Now it's time to make a cup of coffee here. We got some more trucking to do today, so we're gonna take over. I'm using Tim Hortons dark roast Keurig cups here. It's really good coffee. You just pop that in there like that. Close the lid. Turn the light on here so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Hit the strong button. Hit play there. Hit play. Keurig 2.0. And I just know it's going to ask me for water here. So I keep these water jugs here. You can buy them at Walmart. And then you just keep refilling them, right? You just pop that lid off there and it seals right back up again when you put that back on there. And you dump that in there like that. Try not to spill any on your floor. And you pop that lid back on there. Slide that back under there with the rest of it. And put that back on there. I've got big subwoofer under there, and I should put some of these wires away here. Too many wires laying around here. Got my Atlas up there. It's almost time for spring cleaning in here. Okay, that's one down. I'm gonna get some paper towels here. Wipe this off a little bit. Clean house is a happy house. What happened here? So we reuse that same cup, I think. There we go. Let's reuse the same cup there. We got our fridge down here. I got some cream in here. I got cheese for grilled cheese sandwiches and margarine and mayonnaise, and I got a bunch of frozen steaks in there. I'm all set here. Tell you what. And I got my Chester fried chicken. I'm going to put that in the fridge for later. It'll fit. Oh, it's not going to fit in there. Oh well. It'll stay good until I'm ready to eat it. There's enough salt in there, I think. The sun is cleared up, coming out. The fog is cleared up. It's warming up outside. What's the temperature out there? It's 12 degrees Celsius. Oh, that's pretty good. Spring has sprung in the Great White North up here. There's a little bit of snow still in the shady areas, but oh, coffee's almost done here. That's what I do every morning. I make a coffee. That's a power inverter right there. It gives me 1800 watts, which isn't the most powerful one, but it's not a cheap inverter. They spend a lot of money on these inverters. They don't want them. They don't want their trucks burning down on the highway because of a cheap power inverter, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Some of you guys have experienced that. Power inverters burning up because they paid $100 for them at the truck stop there instead of, you know, paying some real money for some. I use this sugar in the raw. I don't know. They say it's better for you. Should probably cut out all sugar altogether, but I'm rebelling. I'm rebelling against what I should be doing a little bit. I have one of these days I'm going to do a video showing you guys how I live out here health-wise. You probably maybe you've seen my 35-pound weight on the floor there, and well, we'll do a whole other show on that another time. Well, let's get trucking again here, shall we? Well, finally, after almost 2 days of driving, we get to leave Ontario and cross into Manitoba. Things are going to look a lot different from here all the way to the British Columbia border. Things flatten out virtually disappear. You can make better time because, like I said, things flatten out. Scales open up here. Let's go in here and see what we find here. This is a port of entry scale for Manitoba. We just crossed into Manitoba. And let's go into the scale here and see what we see here. Just follow those other trucks there. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm seeing because the sun is so bright. I'm not sure the camera's picking it up, but hopefully it is. And they're gonna weigh us and take a look at us, and hopefully they'll like what they see. Sometimes they want to see you inside, you know, just to talk to you, especially if you got these big oversized loads. It's a beautiful day here, 15 degrees Celsius. Wait our turn here. Stop before entering scale. That's something a lot of drivers make a mistake on, is they don't stop before they cross the scale. It tells the officer inside that you don't know what you're doing, right? Stop. $50,000 or 5,040 kilograms. Everything's metric up here. $19,000 kilograms. We got 7 axles here. 7,500. Oh, 15,000. That doesn't seem right. Okay, he just gave me the green light to carry on here. Well, he must have liked what he saw. Must have liked what he saw. Well, that's a good start to our entrance into what they call the Prairies. You know, the Prairies, they start in Manitoba, they stretch through Saskatchewan and Alberta, and that's all 3 provinces are the Canadian Prairies. So we just entered the Prairies here. It's a pretty good start to this leg of the journey. Well, we made her to the end of day 2 here. We're at the Petrol Pass truck stop on the east side of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And like I said earlier, things get pretty flat after this. We can make some good time though. It's a straight shot all the way across the prairies here. This is where the prairies begin, going west. And they end at the Rocky Mountains. And so tomorrow we spend the day in the prairies there. There's not going to be a whole lot to see, not going to be much to report. If there is, I'll let you know. This is it, the end of day 2. 2 more days to go. Good night. Well, this is Manitoba. Like I said, not much to see here. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Like I said, not much to see. I would have turned on my camera going through Winnipeg there, but the roads are in such an abominable shape. The camera probably would have shook right off my forehead. The forehead camera would have just collapsed here. I don't think you could handle the stress of those roads that go around Winnipeg there. It's terrible, but well, I understand that Manitoba doesn't have any money. They're bankrupt. So they don't have any money to fix anything around there, apparently. Well, so we've been trucking across Manitoba here. We're almost in Saskatchewan. And guess what you're going to see in Saskatchewan? Just what you're seeing right here. Pretty much nothing. We're on Highway 1 here, the Trans-Canada Highway. And this will take us right into Alberta. And we're going to get on Highway 3 there, go down through Lethbridge, and then cross into British Columbia at the Crow's Nest Pass, and things get quite different once we get there. We'll be in the Rocky Mountains, so it's beautiful country out there, and we'll have a lot more to look at when we get out there, that's for sure. We're just about to cross into Saskatchewan here, and there's a scale right after we cross, so we'll have to see what's going on there. Maybe they'll be open, or maybe they'll be closed. Who knows? Either way, we should be alright. Anyway, just crossing into Saskatchewan here right now. There, now we're in a completely different province. It doesn't take long to cross Manitoba. It's a long, narrow province, much like Saskatchewan and Alberta. Long, narrow provinces. But we're just crossing the narrow parts of these provinces here. There you go. Not much to see here in Saskatchewan either, is there? Like I say, we're in the prairies. You know, they grow a lot of food here, which is really awesome. They have a lot of land here to do it, and so that's good. We're just coming up on the Moosomin scale here, the first scale in Saskatchewan, and the lights are not flashing, so they don't want to see us today in here. That's good. I mean, we have our permits, we got everything's in order, the weights are good, the load is secured and all of that, so I mean, I don't think it wouldn't have been much of an issue to go in there. They probably just weigh me and push me on through, but it does take time, and you know, it's good to always just keep the cruise control on a beautiful day and just keep on trucking. You know, it's been said that you can't be in 2 places at once. I'm about to prove that wrong. Boom! There, for just a split second, Mike Shoesmith was in 2 places at once. Half my body was in Saskatchewan, the other half was in Alberta. How about that? Well, we just crossed into Alberta here. It doesn't look any different than Saskatchewan, really. And this is Alberta. How do you like it? Alberta does have different topography than Saskatchewan, in so much as you got the foothills, the Rocky Mountain foothills, and you know, you got Jasper Park, which is beautiful, and big mountains there, and so on. But for the most part, Alberta's flat and boring. Sorry, Alberta. It's just a fact. Anyway, we're gonna call her quits here up in Medicine Hat, and then finish this off tomorrow. Well, this wraps up day 3. We're at the Petro Pass truck stop in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Uneventful day, not really much to discuss about it. We drove through most of the prairies today. We did pretty good. We left Winnipeg this morning. Now we're in Medicine Hat. We had a pretty good day today. Tomorrow things take a drastic turn. We end up, we're going to get on number 3 highway. We're going to head across there into British Columbia. Right at the border of British Columbia, we're going to meet up with an escort. Because when you're over 11 feet wide, you need an escort in British Columbia. So he's going to meet us at the line there and take us all the way into the customer, and that's what's going to happen. We're about, I don't know, 4.5 hours or so from the line, and then another, I don't know, 5 hours to Grand Forks, British Columbia. So that's what we have to look forward to tomorrow. Lots of nice scenery, hopefully good weather, and that'll be a good day tomorrow. Alright, we'll see you guys then. Alright, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll bend forward a bit here. What you see up ahead of you there is the Rocky Mountains. We're still in Alberta. We'll be at the Alberta-British Columbia border up here pretty soon. But there you go. You can see them popping up out of the horizon there. And we're going to be going right through them, right through the heart of the Rocky Mountains there. It is beautiful. It does. You look forward to it after driving for 2 days across the prairies. You do look forward to, you know, breaking up the monotony and getting into some scenery again. And there's definitely scenery in British Columbia. There's no doubt about it. We're in Crow's Nest Pass here. We're almost to the BC line. This is called Crow's Nest Pass. It's the on number 3 highway, which runs along the bottom of British Columbia. A lot of the highway multiple times actually dips down and touches with the American border down there. So we should be meeting our escort up here very soon, very soon. Mountain passes in British Columbia, they get narrow and curvy, and they got some narrow bridges that need to be stopped by the escort so that we can go across them. And that's why British Columbia, if you're over 11 feet wide, they require an escort vehicle to do all of that. Crow's Nest Pass is actually on the Alberta side. And it borders with British Columbia. So I'm going to be in BC for a few days, enjoying the scenery. Now we just went through Sparwood, British Columbia, home of the world's largest truck. Well, that's what they call it anyway. It's no longer it's no longer the world's largest truck anyway. It was bigger. I didn't have my camera on when I went through there. I wish I did now, but it's a big green truck. They got it parked there on the side of the road. But BC interior here, we're about an hour and a half to Cranbrook, and see lots of snow on the mountains. That's basically British Columbia. Towns and mountains, towns and mountains. And every time you turn around a corner, there's a new string of mountains in front of you. Just going through Fernie, BC here. Fernie, BC. It's got kind of a to it, doesn't it? Surrounded by mountains, rivers for fishing. It's got a red light. Huh. Fernie, BC. Be a nice place to vacation, I think, maybe. Do some fishing, some hiking, maybe do some skiing, although I don't know if there's any ski resorts around here. But there's my escort in front of me, waiting for me. There's the Elk River. Guy had a ski mask on, so maybe he was skiing. I think he's hitchhiking. That's Fernie, BC for you.
And if my husband was nice and put his radio on, he could help us do this.
Okay. Well, we just fueled up here in Cranbrook, British Columbia. And we got escorts and all this stuff here. And a noisy radio.
If you keep her coming, you're good to go.
And we're going to pull out here and see if we can get out of town without hitting anything here. Oh, we made it through the fuel islands. That's a good start. And we'll just follow the escort out to the main road here. Am I going around you?
You go around me, and then once you get up to that light, kind of take all of what you need. No, it's gonna stop anybody from coming up on your right or anything.
Alrighty.
Believe me, I've seen the real idiots on this intersection.
Approaching right turn on BC3, BC95.
Apparently this is a bit of a tricky right turn here, so we're going to take lots of real estate here. And the escort blocks the right there, so nobody tries to sneak in on my right and get run over. That worked out pretty good. Now we're going to leave Cranbrook here and probably be a non-stop shot right into Grand Forks up here. For another 323 kilometers there. So we got some big mountains to climb up through there, so it's probably going to be 4.5 hours, something like that. Well, we got lots of time anyway before it gets dark. And it should be a good rest of the trip here. We'll wrap it up there at Grand Forks. So we're about 200 kilometers from Grand Forks to the customer there, and we're going through Kootenai Pass here. We're climbing the hill, well, the mountain, and so far so good here. Got the river there on our left and mountains all around us here. This is high mountain trucking. Some of the bridges on here, they're pretty narrow, so the escort up there has to go the other side of the bridge, stop traffic, so that I can take the entire bridge while I'm going across. That's why they have escorts here, if you're over 11 feet. And they warn oncoming traffic that there's a big oversized load coming at them. And as long as everybody plays nice in the sandbox, nobody gets hurt, and everybody gets home alive with all their body parts intact.
Guys, you got a grader working up ahead?
That'll work. Thank you. They had an avalanche here. They had an avalanche here. This road is prone to avalanches, and they're here cleaning it up. Gotta clean up the avalanches. There's a lot of them down through here. I've seen since I got on this road from since we got on this road at Kingsgate there, I've seen probably half a dozen avalanches so far. See how the road slopes down, or the mountain slopes down right toward the road here, and every now and then you know, especially when it starts to thaw out, it likes to let go and just come right down to the road here. So watch out for that. Watch out for avalanches. Well, we got a pretty good climb happening here. We're doing just under 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour, and at 1700 RPM and change. There's quite a bit of snow up here still. It's I don't know if you can see that. It's 6.5 degrees Celsius. And we're going to be on this climb for quite a ways, and then we'll be dropping down the other side, more than likely, right? Whatever goes up must come down. You can hear the fan coming on there trying to keep everything cool. This truck's not even a year old yet, so it's got no problem handling this kind of work. But still, you know, it's got to keep everything nice and cool. A hot engine is not a happy engine. You know, they don't like heat. Heat just wears everything out. So you got to keep everything nice and cool. It's running about a little over 185 degrees, which is pretty good. It's not too bad. And I got about 230 degrees on the oil temperature. It doesn't hit the red line till 250. These engines with the DPF filters and all that, they do run a little hotter than the older style engines, but no, everything's looking pretty good here. See, we're almost at the top here. We're using a 10-speed Eaton transmission. It's not really the optimal transmission for trucking in the mountains, but this company's got 100 trucks, and they just want to keep things simple, you know, because they don't have, not everybody that works here has a lot of experience. Like, I've been trucking 30 years, but they get a lot of guys who are fairly new to the business, and 10 speeds are easy to shift. It's almost impossible to wreck one unless you drive along with no oil in it, but or unless you abuse it. But other than that, this thing here, it'll just stay together, you know, as long as it's well maintained and all that. So, but it'd be nice if there was a 13 speed in here, so I could, you know, I could split the top 5 gears, and that just seems to work a little better. But I mean, I get why they put 10 speeds in here, and I'm not judging the company for doing that, because, you know, I might not be in this truck forever, and they'll put another guy in here who maybe is fairly new to trucking, you know, and he needs help with you know, with the shifting. He needs an easy pattern to shift, so they want to be able to hand this truck off to him, and so that he can truck with it, you know, like but for the most part it works good for the kind of work that we do. There's really no issues with it. But yeah, we're still climbing. My GPS, or my my GPS here, should tell me how high up here we are. We're 1,574 meters up right now. We're still climbing. I'm not sure what that is in feet, but I'm sure some of you out there can figure that out. And well, the snow drifts, the snow banks here, they're getting pretty high. It looks like about a 15-foot snow bank there. But they've done a good job clearing off the roads, so be thankful for that. BC knows how to do roads, there's no doubt about it. When we get around this next corner up here, we'll be at the top of the mountain here. See, they got quite a bit of snow here still. And it's important when you get to the top of these mountains that you respect the downhill climb there, because that's the real killer here in the mountains, is guys don't respect that the decline rate that the truck
And of course there's a brake check right over top.
the decline rate for a truck, you know, the rule of thumb is use the same gear going down as you did going up. So we're in 1 high right now, and but there is a brake check on top here. We do have to stop and you know, check out the brakes and everything, make sure you're not gonna have any issues going down, and so that's what we're gonna have to do up here, is just stop, make sure you can stop, and just to be safe, right? I mean, here we are at the beginning of April, and they still have this much snow on the road. You can imagine what things were like here in like January, February. So here's our brake check here. We're going to pull in here and look things over and make sure everything's okay for the downhill slide here. So basically we're going down. It's an 8% grade, and it's a long one, and so basically we're just using the same gear going down as we did going up. And it's got this this truck here's got really amazing Jake brakes, engine retarder brakes, and I don't know if you can see that there, but it's got 3 stages on it. I've got it in the center stage now, low, medium, and high. I've got it on the medium stage right now, these buttons here. And the medium stage seems to be holding it pretty good, but if it does want to try and get away on me, I can just put it on the high stage, and that really slows it down. And we'll just take our time, you know. There's no point in being in a big rush going down these BC mountains. You can see way over there the mountain stretches out, the decline stretches out for miles and miles down through here, and you know what, you can't be in a hurry. You gotta take your time with these things. You gotta give yourself lots of time, you know. And, I called the customer earlier and I said, I'm not gonna make it today. We're gonna have to do this in the morning, and because you know, we gotta be safe with these things. You know, there's other people out here that want to get home, and I want to get home, and I want to deliver this load in one piece. I don't want to end up off the ravine down there, as you can see. So, I mean, this is serious business trucking out here in BC, and you got to take it seriously, right? It is beautiful out here, though. I'll give them that. It is beautiful out here. if you just take it easy going down the mountains, you can appreciate the scenery instead of being all tensed up behind the wheel wondering if you're going to make it down at the bottom alive. You know, that medium Jake is holding it back almost too much, so I can drop it down to the low side on the Jake. And see, it just sped up on me there, so I got to bring it back down to the medium side. And that seems to be holding it really well. Yeah. Cummins is, this truck's got a 485 Cummins with 1850 torque, and these new engines, I mean, they've done a really good job with these, I'll tell you what. There goes a Bison Transport. The Bison's big name out here. They got a lot of trucks. They truck a lot of miles out here. See all the mountains. We're in the BC interior now. You can see all the mountains down there. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. See, now we're speeding up. So I just hit it up to the top Jake setting, and now we're slowing down. Now I drop it down to the medium Jake setting, and you know what? I'm not even touching the brakes. My foot's not on the brake pedal. I'm using the Jake brake to slow it down, keep it slow, keep it at a good steady slow speed, you know, and never have to touch the brakes, because the brakes work on friction, and friction creates heat. And when your brake pads, your brake shoes get too hot, they lose all their usefulness. They're not good for anything. So you use the engine brake or the engine retarder to keep the truck at the speed you want, and everything goes good. And think about this, we're grossing 110,000 pounds, and these Jakes are holding this truck back without having to use the foot pedal. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I don't care who you are, that's impressive. You just keep toggling this switch here back and forth as you need it. I got my 4-ways on too, just to let people know that there's a slow truck up here, but yeah, things are going pretty well here. This is the Kootenai Pass, by the way. We just went on top of the Kootenai Pass peak there, checked our brakes. You got a long way to go down, as you can see. You wouldn't want to fall off the edge there, boy. You know, the pilot car is waiting up there for me, letting people know that there's a big load coming. See my big load in the mirror there? And we'll just hold this rate of descent all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. You never have to touch the brakes. It's holding about 1700 RPM, give or take. Every time it speeds up to 1800, you just toggle it up another notch and it backs it down to 1600, then put it in the medium setting again. Keep it there for a while. This is how Jake brakes work. It's all done in the engine. There's no braking. There's no foot brake being applied here at all. It's just holding this. It's an 8-degree decline. I'm sorry, 8% decline, and we're holding 110,000 pounds back with Jake brakes. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Just keep toggling it back and forth as you need it. And all will go well with you. You know, maybe you've wondered if you should even bother coming out to BC and doing any trucking. Well, you know, it's not rocket science. You just got to use your head, be patient. That's all. All these guys go ripping and tearing down through here, and they're just an accident looking for someplace to happen. But if you're not patient, if you're in a hurry and you don't know what you're doing, you're not thinking about things properly, these mountains are very unforgiving, very unforgiving. But like I said, it's not rocket science, you know. You just gotta be patient. People get behind you. As soon as you can get over a little bit, let them go by. Don't worry about what other people think behind you. You know, some people don't understand that you've got a tremendous responsibility to get this load delivered in one piece, you know, and get yourself home and protect the public. You know, a lot of people don't know that about escorts, but it's not their job to protect you or the load. It's the escort, it's the pilot car's job to protect the public and property from you, the truck driver. From me, I should say. It's not that pilot car's job to protect me, it's the pilot car's job to protect the public and property from me. That's their job.
That snow just fell down off the rocks on that next corner there. Watch your beaver out, you might want to swing it to the other bank. You're here to do so.
Okay. Looks like we just had a little mini avalanche here. A little mini avalanche on the road
right there. Just came down.
Just came down. I just flattened it a little bit. You got these runaway truck lanes here, so if you've been careless in your speed going down here, they got these runaway truck ramps. You can steer your truck. If it's gotten away on you, you can steer it into that runaway truck lane, and that runaway truck lane will slow you down. Usually they pile a bunch of sand or gravel, and it's loosely piled in there so that it'll bog you down and just bring you to a stop. You don't ever want to end up in one of those, by the way, because I've seen guys go in there and it costs a fortune to get out because you got to get a tow truck. There it is there. You can see that white strip up there. That's the runaway truck lane there. So if your truck's gotten away on you, you've lost all your brakes, you've been using your foot pedal all the way down here instead of your Jake brakes, you've been going way too fast, your truck's gotten away on you, you got no more brakes, they want you to put it up into that white strip there. That's the runaway truck lane. And you can see how it's got a tremendous uphill incline there. That will slow you down, and that'll stop you. That's what those are for. That's what those are for. And we're just toggling that switch. I'm in the high setting now. It's slowing right down. Drop it to the medium setting. Let it speed back up again. And it holds the medium setting for quite a while. That holds the truck back pretty good for quite a ways. And then once we hit about 1800 RPM, we hit it in the high setting there, and it slows it right down.
Difference on this side compared to the other side. Like there's no snow over here.
We've lost all our snow here. See that? The snow drifts are gone, the snow banks are gone. Yeah, I noticed that. They put that chicken wire there to keep the rocks in place in some spots, I noticed. Must have been issues in the past. Now we still got a long ways to go to the bottom here. We can't get impatient. The truck still wants to, if the truck has its way, gravity will just pull it down there at 200 miles an hour, and it'll be nothing but parts at the bottom. You got to control things. You can't let gravity take control, because gravity doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about anything. It's just a force. It's always trying to pull everything down, 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 down. As soon as the cars get a chance, they'll go around you. You know, in British Columbia, they understand this stuff. They know how this kind of thing works. They don't get angry and give you the finger like they do in some places around the world. I won't name names, but who you are. another one. They just do what they gotta do. They don't pass judgment on us for taking it easy and taking it slow. There goes another one. Should almost be down to the bottom here because the snow's almost all gone here. Here comes another runaway truck ramp. You see him. By the time you get down here, if your brakes are all gone, you better get in that runaway truck ramp because they might be scraping you off the road with a pressure washer. And everybody hurts, you know, your family hurts, the customers hurt, the trucking companies hurt, everybody hurts when drivers don't take these kinds of things seriously. I'm going over this in greater detail than I did with the other sections of the country because I'm going to make this portion of this mini documentary into a video by itself on how to use Jake brakes. This is a 3-stage Jake brake here, and I've been using the highest stage and the middle stage to run down this mountain. Sometimes you just need the lowest stage and the middle stage, depending on the decline. You know, if it's a 6-degree decline, I probably wouldn't need to use the highest setting on the Jakes. So even running the Jakes down through here, they're putting a lot of back pressure on the engine, and that really heats up the engine. So it hits 210 degrees, it kicks in the fan there. So now I'm in the lowest setting now because we're not. Now we're down to a 6-degree. Decline for 6 kilometers. So now we can use the center. We can use the center setting, the middle setting, and the lowest setting. We don't even need to get into the highest setting now. I could probably grab another gear here, probably, because we're flattening out quite a bit here. We got a 6-degree decline for 6 kilometers more, so we got to pay attention to these signs. If we grab another gear, then we can use the top setting to hold our speed down. Save our brakes. Does any of that make sense? I hope that all makes sense for you. Because I think that was an important tutorial on how to use Jake brakes and how to come down a mountain pass, because I've seen too many guys get wrecked on these things and it's just not pretty. It's just not pretty.
No, there's somewhere soon I got another bridge, a long one.
We're up on Paulson Summit here, about a little over 5,000 feet up. We're up in the cloud cover here. The cloud ceiling is just above us here. We're only 52 kilometers from the customer here. We start dropping down off the summit here, and we're right up on top of Paulson Summit. We're almost there, almost there. Oh, still got my pilot car in front of me there. We're gonna have to stop at another brake check up here, just to make sure our brakes are working. We haven't been using them much.
Another truck's in here, so it'd be nice to that truck. He's got a bat in his hand.
Oh, he's got a bat in his hand. Oh, yeah. He's hitting his tires there, probably. Checking his tires. Oh. Truck stop here. Check brakes. Steep hill ahead. Well, we'll check our brakes. See if we got brakes here.
Get out and do a walkabout?
And he's got a couple of dogs in the back with him. Now we start going down the big hill here. The next time I talk to you, we'll be sitting at the restaurant in Grand Forks there. We'll see you there. Well, we made her to the Omega 2 restaurant, pizza, steak, and seafood banquet facilities in Grand Forks, British Columbia. The landfill is just down the street here, about 1.5 kilometers. Let's go say hi to our pilot car driver. You guys want to meet the pilot car driver? Let's go see what she has to say here. That. That. Yeah. That's for you. That's for you.
Yep.
You want to say a few words for your fans?
For my fans?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can keep both hands on the road, right? Come on. You want to say hi to people?
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we gonna say here?
Well, we can say.
Welcome to Grand Forks.
I can do the talking.
Okay.
Okay. So we're here with Pam. She's a proprietor of Brahms, is it? Brahms Enterprise Pilot Car Services. She's been my pilot car driver. You did a good job. How did I do? I did a good job, right?
You're awesome.
Yeah. Pam specializes in high mountain road pilot car services, right? That's what you do.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, the audience saw some of those high roads today, and boy, you got to be on the ball to get that done. Right?
As much as you do.
Well, that's true. But hey, you got to protect the public from me, right? You keep the public safe, right?
No, I keep you safe.
Oh, stop it. You protect property, you protect the public from this big...
I keep everybody safe.
From that big monster coming down the road, right? So if you guys need a good pilot car for the high mountain roads in BC or Alberta or anywhere, give... What is it, Brahms? Brahms. What's the area code there? 250, right?
Yep.
250-426-7035.
You bet.
Outstanding job, Pam.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.